Hey, it's Chris with Revaluate, and we've received some questions recently about databases. What kind of databases we work with and what quality. So this is going to be talking directly to the mortgage and the real estate industry, whether you're C-level managing that company or you could be a loan originator or a real estate professional. This is going to be pertinent to you. We're going to look at basically what's wrong with current databases, what you want to put in your database right now, how to create a database if you don't have one, and the most important thing is how to leverage that database for huge ROI. And basically that's one of the core beliefs that we have at Revaluate is people are underutilizing the data they already have. And we'll get into more of that here on this video. Yeah, so the Revaluate team has been in and around data for the better part of 2 decades, working on different projects, specifically in the real estate and mortgage space. And what we have been able to build is this tool that looks at data and reveals leads or likely movers from within a database. And so that sort of made us experts in the data space. However, there are people that are not experts at data, and maybe that's you. Maybe you have a database that's sort of a drawer filled with notes or a spiral notebook, and that's okay. Really hard to work with, and that's kind of how everything was done previously, like an old school Rolodex, right? But what we want to get to today is to a point where we can leverage technology. We want to be able to take artificial intelligence and apply it to that spiral notebook, that Rolodex, and begin to better understand who we should be talking with, where we should be investing our marketing efforts, if you're on the marketing side, your sales efforts, if you're on the sales side, and if you're in management, you really want to be able to know, what does this whole database look like? What's the value? Where are we heading? What's the pipeline? And that kind of information can be learned, right? So first, let's kind of define what exactly is your database. So as an individual or as a company, we can kind of look at the broad spectrum of all the people that could be. So it could be past clients, customers, people you've sold houses to, people you didn't sell houses to, people you did mortgages with or didn't do mortgages with. They can be old leads. You could have bought those leads from one of the large portals 5-10 years ago. They could be friends or old friends or even college buddies, right? They could be the parents of kids on your soccer team if you're a real estate agent. It really is broad, and it is defined only as much as your imagination and your reach could be. But we use this illustration as an indication of what a database looks like, right? So this is sort of a universally used icon for a database. And here we've got sort of 3 different pieces, prior clients, prospects, and old leads in a singular database. And this is just a visual representation. So once we start thinking about, okay, this is what we have as a database to work with, what we need to do next is we've got to go in and clean up the database because there is a lot of junk in there. Now, Revaluate does this automatically. There's no additional charge for doing it. It's part of our onboarding process, and some people don't even know that we do it because it's so seamless and fast. But what we're really trying to remove is any junk that's going to cause wasted time and wasted resources further down the line. And so that junk could look like email addresses of cartoon characters, which I know that everyone gets in their lead capture forms for sure. There's also stuff that sneaks in there from like Airbnb, info@ type email addresses. There's quite a bit of profanity that goes into lead capture systems as well. And that has really not a whole lot of value to you. And the 4th one on here that we've got is Barb at Remax, right? There are a ton of people in the real estate and mortgage industry out there, and you're probably not going to sell a mortgage to another mortgage professional, and you're probably not going to sell another house to another real estate professional. Those are valuable people to have, but we really need to separate those out. And Revaluate goes through and pulls out, on average, 16% of a database once we receive it. We're going to detox 16%, and we're going to store it and save it for you so that you can examine it, use it for other purposes as well, and we'll get into that later. Now that we have that sort of defined and understood, what we do is we take that data and we put it into what we call a silo. So these are the silos that you might see throughout the United States right now, and it's a good visual representation because we're talking about having, in this case, 5 different people's database in 5 different silos, and those silos are all unique, separate, secure, and private storage for your contacts. So there's no cross-pollination between these different databases. They're all locked down and separate and secure. And that's a really important premise to think about when we're talking about your data and someone else's, is the privacy and security. So that visual representation plus our database means that we're looking at something kind of like this, right? You've got 5 separate secure data silos. Okay? So the big question is, from the C-level standpoint, when you're looking at implementing Revaluate, how can you leverage all of this data that all of your LOs, all of your real estate agents have, along with your own corporate data, and respect privacy, right? And respect their kind of their boundaries and with what they want you to see and what you want to be able to provide for them. And so Revaluate has created a really special program for that, and we call it parent-child. So in this case, we're looking at the parent database, the company database on top, and it is a separate silo. And then we're looking at the individual, either loan originators or real estate agents that each have their own separate silo beneath the management of the company database. So they can't see each other's contacts from the loan originator real estate agent standpoint, nor can the company see the individual LO or real estate agent's data. But the company in this case is managing that data and can pull some statistics and data from that while paying for the individual's databases. So they're obviously taking advantage of, obviously the discounted prices of having a huge network come on board at once, rather than all these individual accounts setting up individually. Huge benefits and cost savings there in the Revaluate ecosystem. So let's take it one step further here. And this is going to be looking on the real estate side, and then I'll show you the same example on the mortgage side. But here's a third level where we add in teams. So again, same thing. Here's the corporate database. Now here are our teams. And then each team member on the real estate team can upload their database into the team database. Again, just a visual representation of the way that we can manage and organize all of these contacts, all of this data for you, so that you can be more efficient with your marketing and sales efforts. Here we are now looking at the same thing on the mortgage side. Now this is pretty big. This is a big flip because real estate agents, you've been feeding leads to the mortgage industry for quite some time, and that will continue probably. But in this case, we have several clients that have flipped this around. So here's the mortgage company's corporate database. The loan originators have uploaded their databases to Revaluate. And in this case, the loan originator has several real estate agents that they work with, and they've gone and asked the real estate agents to upload their contacts into Revaluate in their own private, separate silos. So this is what we refer to as the parent, child, and grandchild segmentation. And this is super powerful, super valuable to our customers that are currently leveraging this. So let's take a step back then, and let's look at this overall lead flow, because again, the goal here is to leverage the data to increase sales, to increase ROI. So we're starting with the old customers, leads, and prospects. We're doing a data detox that's included in the process. Whenever we get new contacts in, they go through this kind of scrub, this detox. And then Revaluate, our core technology, is to reveal leads that are most likely to move in the next 6 months. And so every night we go through and we rescore those contacts, telling the owner of that database, the owner of that silo, here are the people that you want to reach out to. Here are the people that are most likely to move, to need a mortgage, that are going to need a house. Those are the people you should reach out to because they are 19.5% likely to move in the next 6 months. So the timing is paramount. But basically with that data, you just roll that into your existing sales process. So if your sales process is to reach out to someone and grab a cup of coffee when you find a hot lead, then reach out and grab a cup of coffee. If it's to drop them into an email campaign, drop them into an email campaign. If it's a Facebook marketing campaign, drop them into a Facebook market. Keep doing whatever it is that is working in your sales process currently. Right. So thanks for joining me today and talking data. I know data can be a pretty exciting topic, but thanks for joining us and look forward to working with you in the future. Feel free to schedule a time to talk with one of our data experts. You can ask questions, you can have an actual demonstration, you can set up an account, anything that you would like to do, go ahead and click that button and our data experts will be glad to schedule a time. And if you don't want to click the button right now, there's also a chat button on the website that you are welcome to click on, and we have people that can answer your questions via chat. Thanks so much.